Okay, so time for my first video here on the channel. I'm going to be focusing on tips for new dads. So I've got 7 tips for you, ranging right through from pregnancy to birth to those tiring early days, weeks and months with your new baby. So yeah, exciting, worried, nervous, but really looking forward to kicking this off. So let's go. Okay, so tip 1 for you is for dads to become as involved and as invested as they can in the pregnancy. So throughout the 9 months, try to attend, although I know it's difficult at the moment, as many pregnancy scans as you can, as many pregnancy appointments, prenatal classes. You've got things like hypnobirthing if that works for you, and then even things like buying things for baby and just really getting as involved as you can, because I think although nothing can prepare you really for becoming a parent, but I do think mentally getting as involved as you can helps with that mental shift from your old life as you know it, where you're number one and you can do as you please, to your new life where you've got this new human that you need to put first and involve in every thought. So certainly getting as involved as you can definitely helps with that mental shift. So one thing that really worked for my wife and I was actually hypnobirthing. Personally, for me, it wasn't so much about the breathing or the techniques, but more having the ear of someone that was very experienced in birthing and pregnancy, someone that wasn't a family member or a friend, that you could just have that back and forth with and help squash a number of those anxieties. One of which was sharing the importance of a dad being involved in the pregnancy. But beyond that, more for me, I had a lot of worries and anxieties about the birth, what we did when we got to the hospital, what we did when my wife started entering labour. So just having someone to squash all those pressures and anxieties. So the biggest one for me was actually worrying about where to park when we got to the hospital, because the local hospital has awful parking, and also what we could do when we got into the room. So being able to talk to someone about this, personally I had no idea, but they let me know, if that is a worry of yours, write a note, put it in the window if you need to park somewhere that isn't an official parking space. And then when you get into the room, just having someone to explain that, that's your room to own. It's your delivery. As long as you're safe, you can do literally what you want. So you could create a playlist, you can change the lighting, you could take little electric tea lights if you wanted to just change the mood. So all of this I had absolutely no clue about. So it was really cool just to have someone on hand that could allow me to mentally get in the right mindset for the birth, and just squash all of those pressures and anxieties, so that when we got to the delivery room, I could just focus solely on my wife. So number 2 is meal prep, and this is something I wish someone had told us before we had our child, because I think when you're in the throes of your newborn days, those early days and weeks where it's just a 24-hour cycle of feed, burp, change, nap, sleep. There's no time to cook nice, hearty, hot meals. So a couple of times during the early weeks, we'd have a knock at the door. It's just a friend or a family member that had just left a nice, fresh, home-cooked meal on the doorstep. I'd focus on lots of freezer-friendly meals, lasagnas, stews, chilies, soups, anything that you can quickly defrost, whack in the oven, and enjoy a nice, quick, hot, home-cooked meal. Do let me know in the comments if you're finding value in some of these tips. It's really important that I get to know the makeup of my subscribers. So are you an expecting parent, are you a new parent, or are you a seasoned pro? So do let me know in the comments. So number 3 is a really important one, and it's knowing that it's okay if that initial bond or connection isn't there with baby. So I think it's very important for dads to know this, because mother, although they can feel the same, has 9 months to really bond with baby because they're growing it. And for dads, it's not always that easy. And I think it's a huge misconception that, we see in movies and things like that, where baby's born, dad's overcome with emotion, and that instant bond and connection is there. I think we quickly forget the amount of pressure that new dads put on themselves. They need to be the emotional support for their partner. They need to be the financial support for their new family. They've got all of these pressures and anxieties, as well as the emotional shift of becoming a parent and then having to secure that bond with their new baby. So if you don't feel that initial connection and bond with baby, it's totally normal. Try not to let it impact your time you spend with your baby. At the moment, you don't know this person. Obviously, it's your child, but it's this new person that's been thrust into the world that you need to look after. Babies don't give much back in terms of feedback in those early weeks. So essentially, they're just taking all of your time, draining you of all of your energy. You'll have no sleep. So I think if dads know that it's normal not to feel this way, they can just do away with that pressure and that anxiety and just focus on their family, which is the important thing. I know for me, when my wife was pregnant, when I envisaged family life, I completely mentally bypassed the throes of having a newborn, the thousands of nappy changes, the lack of sleep. And my visions of family life was family holiday, splashing in the pool, cycle rides, running in the park. But actually, you quickly realise there's a lot of work to do before you get to that point. And I think it's so important that dads appreciate the importance of being present in the early days, weeks and months with their baby. It's so important, and I'm going to get to a little bit more on that shortly. Do let me know in the comments if you as an expecting dad felt the same, that you sort of mentally bypassed all of those thousands of nappy changes and went straight to family life. So number 4 is getting hands-on from day one, and this goes hand in hand with number 3, securing, knowing it's okay if that instant bond or connection isn't there. So by getting hands-on from day one, it really helps with securing that bond and connection. I think there definitely is a misconception out there, because I've spoken to many mothers and fathers and even friends through the Dad Vibes, and I think many people assume there's not much a dad's needed for in those while the baby's in the newborn phase, but obviously when they're on their feet and they're walking, they can get more involved. Like I mentioned before, my visions of family life was when when my baby was actually walking. I completely bypassed the newborn phase, but I do think it is common for dads to literally bypass the newborn phase. But there's so much a dad can do, even if your partner is breastfeeding. You can burp, you can nappy change, you can rock to sleep, you've got contact naps, you've got loads of opportunity through the night to get hands-on with baby and help build that confidence and secure that connection. I'm going to jump into another tip shortly that really helps to give you more time with baby and secure that bond and connection. So number 5 is know it's okay to say no. Certainly your partner is going to be feeling very fragile in those early days. It can be overwhelming, and I know this isn't applicable to everyone. I know some people really like family involvement, and that's perfectly fine, but for us it wasn't the case, and we just wanted that time to get hands-on with our little one and try and come up with our own routines and our own way of doing things. And we communicated this with our family, and they were so respectful. I think our little one was 3 days old before anyone in the family, even our parents, met him. We communicated this beforehand. It was just something that we really wanted to do, because we knew we were likely going to become overwhelmed if we were inundated with visitors from day one, people telling us what to do and how to do things. So just giving ourselves that time as a family unit with our new child and our dog Archie and our cat Gizmo, it really enabled us to get a handle on things in those early days, which was really important. So tip number 6, and that is to baby wear. So this isn't going to make Piers Morgan very happy, but this isn't to baby wear out and about or on walks. This is just simply to baby wear around the house. And this is something I did a lot with our little one when he was a newborn, and it was just a great opportunity to engage with him a lot more, to keep him close, to get things done around the house, and just to spend that much more time with him, keeping him close. And I could actually show him things. So I'd make a coffee, obviously safely. I would watch football, for example. And yeah, it was just a great opportunity to keep baby close, to help me get that much more hands-on with him, and just to help secure that initial bond. And there are actually so many scientific benefits to baby wearing. So I'm going to share some resources in the description below, from cognitive development to help soothing baby. So definitely check those links out, because they're very helpful. So the final tip, and tip 7, is for mothers or co-parents to help dads with a transition to becoming a dad. and this is to allow them the freedom to get hands-on. So this is something my wife did with me in those early days and weeks, and I was really appreciative of. So taking a step back, giving them the freedom to create their own routines, to get hands-on, really does help a dad to boost their confidence with baby and to get hands-on. So one final thing before I close out is just stressing the importance of being present with your baby in those early days, weeks and months. I think as dads, we sometimes expect a lot in terms of needing feedback from baby, but just mentally appreciating that, you know, in those early weeks, we don't get a lot back from baby, but just being there and being able to capture those small little moments. It might be through the night, during parenting through the night, or it might be during the day, just being present to capture those small moments and just know that, you know, there aren't going to be huge extravagant play sessions of throwing and wrestling and things like that. Just knowing that being there, being present is enough. It's all your baby needs. They just need you and your partner. So obviously it might be tough with work and things like that, but when the opportunity arises, just being there and being responsive is so important. So massive thanks for listening, guys. Do let me know in the comments if you found this useful. I've got so much content planned to push out on YouTube, so knowing who you are, your family dynamic, if you're expecting parent, if you've got 1, 2 or 3 children, do let me know in the comments, and there will be a lot more videos to come before the year is out. So thank you very much, guys. Right, can I do? When's your next call?
3:30.
Can you hear me quite vividly?
No, can you hear? I was talking quite loudly, so.
Okay. Oh, is it recording?
Yeah.
Did you press record?
Yeah.